I'm titling this video America's Glass Jaw. Well, actually, it's the United States. I'm not, because when you say America, technically you're talking, North and South, the whole continent, two continents of America. Or, anyway. And also, before I bring this up, my previous video uh, about cell phones, I noticed that anytime I make a video that is against people like Google and the big technology companies, even though my view hits, I've had more views on that on that video in a short time, the revenue drops to nearly nothing. That's my punishment. Anyway, let's go on to this. I've been watching old History Channel stuff. When History Channel and Discovery used to be really about education instead of entertainment like it is now. You can find those old videos on Netflix and Amazon now. On the free videos, like public broadcasting, and when they do documentaries and stuff. All those old History Channel, the real stuff that was really supposed to be more educational than hype, like the presidents, America, how we got here, all those type of History Channel shows or documentaries, whatever you want to call them. And some of them have their facts wrong. So when you're watching it, don't take all the statistics they put in those shows as the gospel, because some of them are off on their figures. Anyhow, what do you? I got a dog over here crying. Anyway, where was I? Oh, America's glass jaw. Why does America have a glass jaw? Because we get knocked out every single time there's a catastrophe. The last one, 9/11. Now, don't get me wrong. If you were in New York, yeah, it may have seemed like the end of the world. But when I was driving around here in Tennessee, there were people around here running around like chickens without their heads off. Thought we were all going to die because they saw on TV 2 buildings fall down. Well, 3 buildings. But anyway, the World Trade Center fiasco. There was actually people out here in my little town. I remember calling a friend of mine. Actually, I think he called me and told me about it, because I was out driving a dump truck. He told me about it, and that's when I swung by the house and saw it. But his wife was talking in the background about going to get the children from school because we were under attack. Now, we're out here in the middle of boondocks. So I don't think going to get your children from school out here in the boonies is going to help anything at all. It's just a glass jaw every time we get hit. I mean, the government, the American people run around and all get scared and everything else because of something they've heard on the news. The government said this or whatever. They read it in the newspaper. Okay. I'll go back as far as the sinking of the Maine. Well, how about Fort Sumter in the Civil War? The South Carolina attacks the Fort Sumter, and bam, it's a disaster in all the northern newspapers, and all of a sudden it riles everybody up. War, war, war. You move on to let's see. How about World War II? Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, that radio was around then. So, boom, all of a sudden, everybody's, rounding up the Japanese. And it's just the American Japanese. And everybody goes nuts. And latest one, World Trade Center. Boom, everybody goes nuts. It's like a frenzy of Washington, D.C., law passing and all this other stuff. And it brings us back to one of our founding fathers. His famous saying, any society that would give up a little liberty to gain a little security will deserve neither and lose both. And these words that he has spoken has been proven factual over time. Every time America gets hit, people, let's do something about, you know what? The World Trade Center, they could have passed, instead of making a whole new Department of Homeland Security, all they would have had to do is pass a law saying that the CIA and the FBI have to share information. You know, when the CIA, about foreign entities coming in our country. It would have been simple like that. A simple law saying information sharing about foreign nationals in the country. Would have been simple. Nope. What's the knee-jerk response? A whole new department, a whole new bureaucracy, a couple more wars. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think we should have let Osama get away with it. We should have killed him real quick. But basically, after Bush 1 went into and kicked Saddam out of Kuwait, he should have finished the job then. And when we went into Afghanistan, that would have allowed us just to concentrate on the one Afghanistan. But you got to remember, during the Clinton presidency, now this was caught, and it's history, you can look it up. Saddam did send an assassination squad of Republican Guard into Kuwait after George Bush Sr., after he was already out of office. Saddam tried to kill him. Now that is where George Bush #2 why he went after Saddam Hussein, is because he wanted to get some payback for Saddam trying to kill his daddy. You got to remember, Saddam tried and was caught red-handed trying to kill one of our ex-presidents, which would have been an act of war by a country. And it should have been at that time. Clinton, if he had a spine in his first term, should have went to Congress and asked for a declaration of war, because a leader of a foreign country was caught red-handed trying to assassinate one of our previous presidents. But there you go. Old Clinton was good at the Potomac two-step. He just sidestepped that whole issue and said, So, here we go. Back to any society that will give up a little liberty. There's no reason for any American to have to give up any of their liberties. I get criticized all the time. They say I'm anti-gay. Well, I am pro-Christian. Okay, so I don't see why I have to be forced to have gay stuff shoved down my throat. Why are gays forcing themselves? It's like they're raping the church. They don't want equal rights. They want special rights. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's human nature to do that, but it's just like the blacks. The blacks don't want equal rights. They want special rights. It's like, okay, nobody is alive now that was ever in slavery. And most of the people that were even in Martin Luther King's day are getting old and gray and passing away. So, we even got a African-American president. So, there's no reason for any black man to say that they're being oppressed right now. They want special rights. Of course, I would like to have special rights. That would be cool. But I don't get them. Heck, I can't even get pain medicine anymore because somebody decided to go out there and I think they were grinding it up and shooting up the pills that the doctor was getting. But anyway, this is America's glass jaw. We have a glass jaw. Every time we get hit, we can't take the punch. The world is going to come to an end every time America takes a punch. I mean, we can face it, folks. What would happen if one of our big cities got nuked by a terrorist? Really, really what would happen? Not much. not really much in the big picture of things. If a hydrogen bomb went off in New York City, it would hurt. It would be like a major bee sting. But really, what would really happen? What does New York City produce? Not much. A bunch of paperwork, a bunch of electronics, financial transactions that are these days backed up everywhere else, in data centers in the middle of the country, and they're backed up all over the world. So yes, there would be 10. Let's say it's an air burst, 20 megaton hydrogen bomb. Worst case scenario, and now that's not a terrorist attack. That's something that's major. It wipes out all of Staten Island, part of New Jersey. Yes, we'd lose petrochemicals and stuff like that, but face it, we've got other ports down the coast. You got Baltimore, you got Boston. All those ports could be switched over. There would be a minor inconvenience for a while, but you know what? It would be today, the way things are right now, the way everybody's running, so scared, and our glass jaw would give us a knockout punch because everybody has a glass jaw. We cannot take a punch. If we take a punch, it's like you get knocked out. So I'm sitting here trying to think of something even bigger. Well, that show Jericho. That's pretty close. I mean, look, they set off hydrogen bombs in 20 cities. Maybe they got hold of a MIRV. Of course, MIRVs don't have 20 megaton hydrogen bombs in them. But let's say all those cities got knocked out. The radiation would subside after a while. We have already set off well over 20 atom bombs on the Earth before. And yes, it did cause radiation, and we stopped doing the atmospheric testing because they found out that the air was getting radiated. So they stopped. But it wasn't the end of the world. Russia was testing. We were testing back in the 50s and everything like that. But it wasn't the end of the world. So, if New York City, let's say New York got knocked out, that would be a major catastrophe, but it would not be the end of the world. So, why would everybody just throw up their hands and run around like chickens without their heads on? Because we're Americans. We're scared of our own shadows. You know what? I think America is kind of like horses. 1,000-pound chicken. That's what we are. A big, huge nation of chickens.